40 plus degrees on the court, you know what that's like. Well, let's go back a little bit if I could, Kathleen. Let's go back to where it all began with your connection with your son. I want to understand why. Why did you have, where did it all start? I mean, what was the catalyst for it? Not how you did it, but what was the catalyst for your relationship with your son?
Well, each year with the athletes on the tour, we conduct an annual physical examination, and during that examination, our doctors and our sports dietitians were recommending to the players supplements. However, we didn't have an answer for them on which supplements to take because of our anti-doping rules in the sport, and so it was really important that we came up with a solution for them.
So the athletes are really keen to use something, and you want to help make sure that they played up and above board with their supplement, and they were healthy with that.
That's correct, and so we sought out and we said our athletes have very specific needs because our athletes are professional athletes, so they're giving their all on the court. They are traveling athletes. We travel international. It's the only sport that truly travels international. And they're female athletes. So they really have special needs, and we needed to tick each of those boxes.
Fantastic. So you got a problem. You have a need.
Yep.
So what did you do? What came next?
So then we did a search. We looked at companies. We searched for supplement companies. And we narrowed the list down and narrowed the list down. And we found that USANA was our top pick.
So what were some of the things that stood out to you in your initial due diligence? What were some of the things that separated USANA from the other companies? Because you would have had a lot to choose from.
We did. And we actually went to the lab itself.
Wow.
So we took a tour of the lab. We met with the scientists, and we met with the executives of the company, and we found that, one, it met our needs, ticking those boxes, that there was a guarantee that the manufacturing process was pure, and that our philosophy matched, and that was prevention and health.
Fantastic. So, Alisha, I want to just check, what year did you do it again? When did this start?
Yeah, in 2006.
2006. So, Alisha, you were getting towards the end of retirement for you then.
Yeah, look, that was in a few years that my best year was 2005, so it began just after, I think, at the pinnacle of my success. But I was just chatting with Kathleen earlier on. For the majority of my career, I'd walk into the training room, the WTA training room, be feeling a little off, wanting some sort of boost or a vitamin C even, and it was very difficult for any type of supplement to be provided to players purely because we were never guaranteed that we would pass the drug testing and so forth. So as a player, to know that you may be deficient in a few areas, and then to know that you have the support, you can walk into the training room, you can be administered something and have full confidence that not only can you go out and train, but perform at your peak and not have any worry or question marks over your body.
So while you're on that subject, let's talk about the athlete guarantee. I mean, let's get real clear. What does that mean to you as an organisation and you individually as a former tennis player?
As an organization, the athlete guarantee was critical because we wanted to ensure to the players that if they take this product that it's pure and that they would be guaranteed, USANA guaranteed that they had confidence in their product, and they went through all of the measures to ensure that that product would pass the anti-doping rule. Many of our players are offered the guarantee, but they don't even sign it because they're that confident in the product.
Now, how many companies offered that sort of guarantee? Was that a common thing in the industry?
It was not common. It was very uncommon. It actually was a standout for the USANA company. And the players are so confident today that I do have to brag about this because in 2006 we started with no players taking supplements and 0 players taking supplements, and today 160 of our athletes take USANA products. And 17 of the top 3.
So you've got 160 athletes in your program that USANA are supplying the product to.
Yes.
And I know, like we were talking about, they get on the phone and say, listen, Kathleen, I'm not sure.
Yep.
This is not just like an added extra. This is something they hang out for.
Yes.
Tell that story.
This is absolutely part of their daily regime, and we talk about how the sport has evolved, and you know, over the last, I've been in the sport for 25 years, and Alisha can tell better stories than I can, I'm sure, but you know, we've seen fitness and conditioning come into the game. Martina Navratilova really brought that into the game, and then periodization, athletes really going through their prep. Alisha's a coach, she knows this, and how they're going to peak and then recover, all of those things being paramount. But what's really become sophisticated in the sport is their nutrition and their performance coupled with their supplements. And it's really essential and part of their daily regime to keep them healthy and performing at their peak.
And I want to go back on that point because a few of us in the room can remember, you remember, Kathleen, there was a time when supplements weren't as well received both by the broader community as well as the athletes. And what are the major differences between that era and what you see now with the athletes' attitude towards supplements?
Our knowledge,
Yeah.
definitely our knowledge base has improved in that area, and also it is they have the confidence in it because it's really for our players. They feel that they have maintained their health and fitness levels because it's a complement to their regime. So in order for them to really be participating at a very high level, that's been introduced, and they definitely feel the difference with that. I can also speak to the point of, on a medical side, we've identified, and probably most recently a lot of, for example, like vitamin D deficiency, so on and so forth, and it's been a solution to the players who have had those deficits.
Wow.
So, iron is also one of the areas for our athletes.
So the knowledge has really grown. So you've got 160 athletes in the program. Now, let's talk about the top end. You mentioned the statistic before.
Yep.
Top 10. What's the ASANA usage in the top 10 in the WTA program or in the world tennis?
Yep, we have in the top 10, there are 8 of the top 10 players who are taking the USANA product, and they call all the time to get, make sure that they have enough, that it's, that they're prepared. One thing about top players, and Alisha can speak to this as she was a top player, and is that there's no stone unturned. They do everything possible to possibly be at their best, and down to the very detail. And that's what's so impressive about a player at that level. And this is very much a part of their training.
So going deeper than the top 10, what about the top 20, top 30? Some stats there.
Mm-hmm. It's the same. Again, there's of the top 200 players, 160 of those players are taking USANA products, but the players are, they'll come to us when we are here. We did a distribution, so they're waiting. They know we're going to do a distribution in Australia. They sign up, they come in, they meet with the dietitian, and they replenish their supply. And it's very specific to each athlete. It's not just broad that they're given, anything.
So you personalise it.
We personalize it, and that is also what's necessary for a top athlete.
So let's talk about that. What are some of the products that you typically, you're in charge of this decision ultimately?
Yes, but I work with the team. We have a team of medical advisors and a sports dietitian.
But you're a big player in this decision.
Yeah. Yes.
So what are the products that you've decided were
Yeah.
appropriate for your athletes?
Yeah. Our list of the products that we have selected is the essentials, Booster C, probiotic, Biomega, vitamin D. We have another category which is the iron, and Fucosa. And then the players also have in the training room every week the NutriMill, which is a fantastic recovery drink that the players will drink within 30 minutes after a match, because it has the right amount of carbohydrates and proteins. And of course, they do go nuts and berries over the bars.
Oh yeah. And we're just getting someone in half of this off the way.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So when you call up USANA, when you do business with USANA, when you reach out for help, what's your experience with USANA as a company?
With
As
USANA.
a company,
Oh,
when you say I've
fantastic.
got a challenge and
Yeah.
can you help me with this?
Yeah, right. The experience that we've had is absolutely fantastic from the service side, but I think probably most impressive is that it's a progressive company. They're always cutting edge in a very scientific way. And that's what's so impressive is what is next, what do the athletes need, what's coming down the road. So true visionaries.
Because to be the best you can be, you have to always look for a better way to do it.
That's correct.
Everybody's
Yeah.
getting better at what they're doing, so we've always got to stay
Yeah.
ahead. And that is never more true than with athletes. You want to be right at the forefront of that.
Without a doubt, and USANA does that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Alisha, as a young tennis player, now there's a lot of young people going to tennis, isn't there? There's hundreds, thousands, millions maybe. Who knows?
Absolutely.
So talking about